Peace and power. I always not be ready. I'm kind of ready today. I would love some earrings. 11:11. Let me just send this to my phone. Sorry. I be getting wrapped up. Okay. So, turn this off. Peace. Hey, sis. Um, I had got wrapped up. Let me tune back in. Now, Sub Lisa, I came here to talk about, well, of course, we're going to pull the card, but to really talk about valuing yourself. One of my affirmations for this new year is to never ever put myself in a position of trying to prove my worth to anyone ever again. Um, Another one is to make space for unexpected miracles, and I free myself from obstacles and I accept abundance and success. And those are key. I want to challenge everybody to stop sometimes and look at yourself hard in the mirror and really evaluate what you see and how you are feeling when you are looking at yourself. That chapter we did in the book on counterfeit personalities, it was very deep. It was about going around putting on a face to everyone. And how that is relevant is because you look at the rate of suicide, and I know a couple of people personally that has lost somebody to suicide. Um, but what they have in common is saying they didn't know. And it's because people walk around and put on counterfeit personalities a lot. And so I challenge you to pause, get you a mirror, stare in it, and ask yourself, is what you see something that you like? And if it is not, change it. I challenge you to yourself. I challenge you to yourself. If what you see in that mirror is somebody you don't like, are you being authentic with yourself? Or are you trying to prove your worth? Sometimes we participate in toxic behavior, or I would even say energy abuse, allowing people to just come around and suck your energy. Um, We're just trying to prove on a certain level that we're a good person to have on the team. And that should never be the case. Everything should flow naturally. Everything should flow naturally. When you're looking at the rivers and stuff, you don't see the rivers forcing. It's just flowing. It's not forcing. When you flow, your heart is light. When you force, it comes with a lot of heaviness. And like I said, it all reminds me of the chapter in the book on counterfeit personalities. So yeah, I shuffle the tarot. I'm gonna mark it because I'm gonna read the book at the end too. And so let me put in here. All right. Now we're gonna shuffle the other deck too. So let me just pull. Yesterday we pulled the broccoli card, leadership. Well, yeah, those counterfeit personalities. I want to encourage everybody to show up as their genuine self. Sometimes you have to take a step back to reevaluate. Mm. Let me put on a little music for us. It's a little dry. Joy and pain, sunshine and rain. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is the greatest hits. Let's look at it. Look, they got it. So, yes, sir. We finna hear that joy and pain. Oh, let's charge these cards. Life is ups and downs. They the polar opposite, remember? Hey. I'm gonna put out Come on, y'all. Bring it on in. Hey. Oh, let me share this. I got the words. Kind that lasts forevermore, so you know suddenly the things you see got you hurt so bad, so bad. How come the things that make us happy make us sad? Suddenly, joy and pain are like sunshine and rain. Joy and pain are like sunshine and rain. Love can be bitter. Love can be sweet. Sometimes devotion and sometimes deceit. The ones that you care for give you so much pain. Oh, but it's alright. They're both one. They both one in the same. It's the book reading, y'all. Let's sing it a Kybalion. Don't it seem we go through life going up and down? Going up and down. Seems the things that turn you on turn you around. Always hurting each other. If it ain't one thing, it's another. When the world is down on you, love somewhere around. And I want you to know that joy, like sunshine and rain. Ooh, joy and pain. I like sunshine and rain. All right, y'all. Y'all know that's my jam. So let's get into pulling this chord. They talking about a Kybalion. Let me find out. Did y'all see the album cover? Or whoever did that art? The polar opposite, hot and cold. They're on the same pole. They just at different ends. Joy and pain. All right, let's pull. Let's get into it. Two of Cups. The plant is the periwinkle. The periwinkle looks at outside like. Let's look it up, Tara. Joy and pain, like sunshine. Meaning magical properties and signs for a more passionate atmosphere In the marital bedroom, sprinkle periwinkle under the bed. Whoa. A girl carrying a periwinkle with her attracts the attention of men. A charm decoction of periwinkle can bewitch a lover. For the marriage to be strong and the spouses to live in complete harmony and idle, it is necessary to sew periwinkle twigs into the pillow. A periwinkle planted near the house means a strong family and inseparability. Such a marriage will be long and strong because this plant helps to keep the love and the mutual understanding in the house. That's deep. I'm gonna go on a periwinkle search. No, yeah, but that's deep. This is just blocking my whole face out of control. So, if you want to keep your marriage long and strong, this plant helps to keep your love mutual, keep love and mutual understanding in the house. If you plant it by your house. Description of the created story. The card shows two glasses diagonally of the same shape and color. In the upper part of each of them, there is a distinctive feature. The upper part depicts a lion, the lower one, two intertwined snakes, by analogy with the classic card. The glasses are woven by periwinkle with still unblown buds as a symbol of the birth of love. So it's a love card. And that's what I was saying, self-love, valuing yourself, taking a long look in the mirror and seeing if you are really yourself or a counterfeit personality. And then if you're not really yourself, working to get there, taking the proper steps. I'm gonna give me a pair of winkle plants for me. Strengthen my relationship with myself. So yeah, good card. Played into what we was talking about. So we're gonna put these up. Periwinkle is the number two. And two symbolizes Gemini, the weighing, and then also the pose. Gemini would be posed, the back and forth. So let's pull the other card. So let me put two of cups and tarot. So we pulled two cups. In the tarot. And then we're pulling card number 19, the fennel plant. Number 19, yeah. It has Virgo on it. It's the strength card. And the fennel plant. And this is an oracle. So let's look it up. Number 19 is 10. It's number completion. There's a sword on the card. Like I said, Virgo. Let's look up the meaning. We haven't pulled this card in a while. I don't think. I may have never had so many good ideas day after day as when I worked in the garden. So the oracle meaning is you will find a greater strength and positive grounding energy coming forth, and even an invitation to undertake a new life path. Friendships are highlighted by fennel, and you may find you are spending additional time with those you align with closely. Situations in which sharing is high on the agenda, high on the agenda will occur, and you are being prompted to share or teach what you know. Be careful not to work too hard or become unnecessarily reclusive. Magical correspondences, grounding, completion, goal, friendship, shared success, deities, Dionysus, Hephaestus, Adonis, Hermes, and Mercury. Celestials, Mercury, your thoughts. It rules Virgo and Gemini. I think. For a strength spell. So the astrological sign here is Virgo. Strength spell. If you need more strength, try this candle spell. Slice a whole fennel bulb on the top and bottom until you have a structure with a flat top. You can safely stand on the surface. Tightly tie a red string or ribbon around the fennel bulb 3 times. Set a wide red candle upon the fennel. Surround with 4 agate crystals, one at each compass point, and light the candle. Let it burn and ask for strength. And then put out the flame. Like I said, I wouldn't put out the flame. I would just let it burn. Don't put out the flame with candles left. Okay, so we got that done. Let's get on into the book. The strength card. And then you had the love card. Strength and the all right, so we get into the Kybalion. Oh, excuse me, baby. Let me put it up here. We are on chapter 13. We made it, y'all. Mama, I made it. Let me hear the rest of this song now. Anyway. There will be sorrow, but you will know where there's a flower. There's some tea. Said they both one and the same, baby. This is peppermint tea. Let me make sure I ain't lying. Hold on, let me check. Thyme and eucalyptus. I was like, thyme and eucalyptus. It's delicious too. Yeah, that song came up, y'all. I love it. So we're gonna get right into it, no delay. Okay, let me get the book sharing up. Let me share the screen. Let me share the screen. I don't know why I can't just type it in 100. Enter. Okay, it did it this time. We on 13, chapter 13. Okay. Let's share the screen. Share. Stop spraying. Joy, joy and pain on sunshine and rain. Copy. Let me bring it to y'all right here. Okay. So the link to the book's PDF is in the chat. Yay, 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 yay. And sunshine and rain. All right. So chapter 13 is on gender. This is to anybody that's confused, okay? This is on gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. The great seventh Hermetic principle, the principle of gender, embodies the truth that there is gender manifested in everything, that the masculine and feminine principles are ever present and active in all phases of phenomena on each and every level, on each and every plane of life. At this point, we think it well to call your attention to the fact that gender, in its hermetic sense, and sex in the ordinarily accepted use of the term are not the same. The word gender is derived from the Latin root meaning to beget, to procreate, to generate, to create, to produce. A moment's consideration will show you that the word has a much broader and much general meaning than the term sex, the latter referring to the physical distinctions between male and female living things. Sex is merely a manifestation of gender on a certain plane of the great physical plane, the plane of organic life. We wish to impress this distinction upon your minds for the reason that certain writers who have acquired a smattering of the Hermetic philosophy have sought to identify this seventh Hermetic principle with wild and fanciful and often reprehensible theories and teachings regarding sex. The office of gender is solely that of creating, producing, generating, etc., and its manifestations are visible on every plane of phenomena. It is somewhat difficult to produce proofs of this along scientific lines for the reason that science has not yet recognized this principle as of universal application, but still some proofs are forthcoming from scientific sources. In the first place, we find a distinct manifestation of the principle of gender among the corpuscles, eons, or electrons, which constitute the basis of matter, as science now knows the latter, and which by forming certain combinations form the atom, which until lately was regarded as final and indivisible. Indivisible. The latest word of science is that the atom is composed of a multitude of corpuscles, electrons, or ions, the various names being applied by different authorities, resolving, revolving around each other and vibrating at a high degree in intensity. But the accompanying statement is made that the formation of the atom is really due to the clustering of negative corpuscles around a positive one. The positive corpuscles seeming to exert a certain influence upon the negative corpuscles, causing the latter to assume certain combinations and thus create or generate an atom. This is in line with the most ancient Hermetic teachings, which have always identified the masculine principle of gender with the positive and the feminine with the negative poles of electricity, so-called, so-called, and that's what they call electricity. Um, Now, a word at this point regarding this identification. The public mind has formed an entirely erroneous impression regarding the qualities of the so called negative pole of electrified or magnetized matter. The terms positive and negative are very wrongly applied to this phenomenon by science. The word positive means something real and strong as compared with a negative unreality or weakness. Nothing is further from the real facts of electrical phenomena. The so-called negative pole of the battery is really the pole and by which the generation or production of new forms and energies is manifested. There is nothing negative about it. The best scientific authorities now use the word cathode in place of negative. The word cathode coming from the Greek root meaning descent, the path of generation, etc. From the cathode pole emerge the swarm of electrons or corpuscles. From the same pole emerge those wonderful rays, which have been, which have revolutionized scientific conceptions during the past decade. The cathode pole is the mother of all of these strange phenomena which have rendered useless the old textbooks and which have caused many long accepted theories to be relegated to the scrap pile of scientific speculation. The cathode or negative pole is the mother principle of the electrical phenomenon and of the finest forms of matter as yet known to science. So you see, we are justified in refusing to use the term negative in our consideration of the subject and in insisting upon substituting the word feminine for the old term. The facts of the case bear us out in this without taking the Hermetic teachings into consideration. And so we shall use the word feminine in the place of negative in speaking of that pole of activity. The latest scientific teachings are that the creative corpuscles or electrons are feminine. Science says they are composed of negative electricity. We say they are composed of feminine energy. A feminine corpuscle becomes detached from, or rather leaves a masculine corpuscle and starts on a new career. It actively seeks a union with a masculine corpuscle, being urged thereto by the natural impulse to create new forms of matter or energy. One writer goes so far as to use the term it at once seeks of its own volition a union, etc. This detachment and uniting forms the basis of the greater part of the activities of the chemical world. When the feminine corpuscle unites with a masculine corpuscle, a certain process is begun. The feminine particles vibrate rapidly under the influence of the masculine energy and circle rapidly around the latter. The result is the birth of a new atom. This new atom is really composed of a union of the masculine and feminine electrons or corpuscles, but when the union is formed, the atom is a separate thing, having certain properties but no longer manifesting the property of free electricity. The process of detachment or separation of the feminine electrons is called ionization. These electrons or corpuscles are the most active workers in nature's field. Arising from their unions or combinations manifest the varied phenomena of light, heat, electricity, magnetism, attraction, repulsion, chemical affinity, and the reverse and similar phenomena. And all this arises from the operation of the principle of gender on the plane of energy. And so what they just described, he said when the feminine separates from the male corpuscle, it automatically seeks another masculine. Isn't that a wonder of nature? Just like people. Okay. So you are in this all the way down to the activity of it all. The kinetics, the movement of it all. So like you automatically seeking. So people who are separated or who are widowed, because my neighbor, we had this discussion, me and my neighbor. She said she was mad that people were suggesting that her aunt start back dating because her husband died. But naturally, the female automatically would seek out another male corpuscle because females like to feel safe and covered. And you do that by, and so, yeah, it's nature. Um, But yeah, she said she don't think that that should be something people are telling her to worry about a man and she's still mourning. I get it, but again, females want to be covered. So that's what that just described. Now the part of the masculine principle seems to be that of directing a certain inherent energy towards the feminine principle, and thus starting into activity the creative processes. But the feminine principle is the one always doing the active, creative work, and this is so on all planes. And yet each principle is incapable of operative energy without the assistance of the other. In some of the forms of life, the two principles are combined in one organism. Y'all know some of those worms and stuff that can have other worms on their own, or bugs, whatever. Um, for that matter, everything in the organic world manifests both genders. There's always the masculine present in the feminine form, and the feminine form. There's always the masculine present in the feminine form and the masculine form. The Hermetic teachings include much regarding the operation of the two principles of gender in the production and manifestation of various forms of energy, etc. But we do not deem it expedient to go into detail regarding the same at this point because we are unable to back up the same with scientific proof for the reason that science has not as yet progressed thus far. But the example we have given you of the phenomena of the electrons or corpuscles will show you that science is on the right path and will also give you a general idea of the underlying principles. Now, some leading scientific investigators have announced their belief that in the formation of crystals, there was to be found something that corresponded to sex activity, which is another straw showing the direction of the scientific winds are blowing. And each year will bring other facts to corroborate the correctness of the Hermetic principle of gender. It will be found that gender is in constant operation and manifestation in the field of inorganic matter and in the field of energy or force. Electricity is now generally regarded as the something into which all other forms of energy seem to melt or dissolve. The electrical theory of the universe is the latest scientific doctrine and is growing rapidly in popularity and general acceptance. And it thus follows that if we are able to discover in the phenomena of electricity, even at the very root and the source of its manifestations, a clear and unmistakable evidence of the presence of gender and its activities, we are justified in asking you to believe that science has the last offered proofs of the existence in all universal phenomena of that great Hermetic principle, the principle of gender. It is not necessary to take up your time with the well known phenomena of the attraction and repulsion of the atoms, chemical affinity to the loves and hates of the atomic particles, the attraction or cohesion between the molecules of matter. So we were just talking about love and pain, sunshine and rain. It's saying we no longer have to take up our time about how that operates. These facts are too well known to need extended comment from us. But have you ever considered that all of these things are manifestations of the gender principle? Can you not see that the phenomena is on all fours with that of the corpuscles or electrons? Yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And we're closing this chapter out. And more than this, can you not see the reasonableness of the Hermetic teachings, which assert that the very law of gravitation, that strange attraction by reason of which all particles and bodies of matter in the universe tend toward each other, is but another manifestation of the principle of gender, which operates in the direction of attracting to the masculine, which operates in the direction of attracting the masculine to the feminine energies and vice versa. We cannot offer you scientific proof. I left my book of this at this time, but examine the phenomena in the light of the Hermetic teachings on the subject and see if you have not a better working hypothesis than any offered by physical science. Submit all physical phenomena to the test, and you will discern the principle of gender ever in evidence. Let us now pass on to a consideration of the operation of the principle of mental plane. Many interesting features are there awaiting examination. So the next chapter will be chapter 14 on mental gender. And I think this is the chapter where I was telling y'all they talk about how they use the television to insert thoughts. Yeah, I think that's the chapter. We'll see. All right, so we got through it in 40 minutes. That gives us a couple of minutes left. I was gonna bring y'all some information from the other book, but it looks like I left it. Um, Waiting for the abundant sister to message me back on when we will be starting Fall Book Club. I can't wait to read this. Um, Let me see. So I guess we can highlight the chapters. This one is longer than the feminine. We have chapter 1, the house of the man. Chapter 2 is the master masculine faculty. This is mastering the master masculine. Chapter 3 is the way of the warrior. Chapter 4 is awakening the warrior energy. Chapter 5, the way of the healer. Chapter 6, awakening the healer archetype. Chapter 7, the way of the eagle. Chapter 8, awakening the eagle archetype energy. Chapter 9, the way of the hunter. Chapter 10, awakening the hunter archetype energy. Chapter 11, why men fail. Chapter 12, negative male broadcast. Chapter 13, male culture by race and religion. Chapter 14, the superior man. Chapter 15, blueprint for success. Chapter 16, raising children successfully. Chapter 17, the Tantra arts. Chapter 18, the relationship underworld. Chapter 19, awakening the pleasure. And chapter 20 is case studies. So yeah, I'm excited. We'll be getting into it soon. I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. Peace and power, and I'm out. Yeah, and I'm out.